Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Emanuel. As the war between Hamas and Israel continues, tensions have been flaring here at home as well, especially on college campuses across the country. Tonight, our Sonia Ellison has more on these escalating tensions from the campus of Elmira College.
Tensions are high on college campuses across the U.S. amidst the Israel-Palestine war. Elmira College has not yet released a statement officially on the conflict. I talked to students here at Elmira College to see what they think.
I feel like it would be better if they released something more educational for the students to let them know what's going on in the world.
Most of the students we spoke with today aren't following the conflict very closely.
It seems like everybody here doesn't really know anything about what's going on.
Though Elmira College has not yet seen anything like the violent protests on some other college campuses, first-year biology major Nada Mustafa does think the college should take a more proactive approach to educate students on the conflict. Elmira College's communication and press officer issued this statement, quote, "The college values diversity, inclusion, and global awareness on campus. Hateful speech that targets a group of people or makes people feel unsafe is not tolerated, and the college will respond accordingly to ensure the campus feels safe and respected." Cornell University recently cracked down on anti-Semitic threats that were allegedly made by student Patrick Dye. Dye was denied bail by a federal magistrate. Here at Elmira College, students told me they do not feel threatened.
I believe that there is a safe environment here. You can be who you want to be.
And Elmira College remains, quote, "committed to providing a safe place where students, faculty, and staff can speak freely." Some students do have very strong opinions.
Ultimately, if there's a way we can stop people killing each other and just civilian deaths, I think that's all we need to do.
Students like Nada hope for a solution to the Mideast conflict that will someday bring the same kind of peace to that part of the world that students on campus here experience every day. Sonia Ellison, Big Fox News, Elmira.
Bail has been denied for the Cornell student accused of threatening Jewish students on campus. A judge denied Patrick Dye's bail, referencing the student's mental instability, calling him, quote, "unstable and erratic." Dye is accused of posting online a series of threats that included plans to attack a kosher dining hall at Cornell. He admitted to the threats after being interviewed by the FBI. A massive rally in the nation's capital showing support for Israel. Madeline Rivera has more.
We stand with Israel.
Just steps away from the Capitol, thousands of people gathered to show support for Israel. As several Israeli flags waved in the crowd, many high-profile speakers from at home and abroad called on the world to fight anti-Semitism and to not forget the more than 200 hostages still being held by Hamas.
We will continue fighting for the release of all hostages till they return to safety. Let them go. Bring them home.
The Department of Homeland Security reportedly designated the rally, called the March for Israel, as a Level 1 security event, the highest classification in its system typically used for the Super Bowl and other major events. Several law enforcement agencies were deployed to help police, including the National Guard. Since the Israel-Hamas war began on October 7th, anti-Semitic incidents across the U.S. have spiked, according to the Anti-Defamation League.
Jews all over the world must be safe.
And back on November 4th, pro-Palestinian demonstrators flocked to the nation's capital to stand in solidarity with the people of Gaza and to demand a ceasefire as the humanitarian crisis grows worse in the Strip.
Israel will cease their counteroffensive when Hamas ceases to be a threat to the Jewish state.
President Biden was not at the event as he was heading to San Francisco for the APEC summit. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
The Ithaca Police Department announcing the arrest of an Ithaca resident, Natasha Padron Martinez, in connection with a stabbing incident that happened on Fulton Street in Ithaca in late October. She was charged with second-degree assault for allegedly stabbing the victim with a knife. She was sent to Tompkins County Jail following her arraignment in Ithaca City Court. The victim suffered a non-life-threatening stab wound and was airlifted for treatment where she was in stable condition. Ithaca Police Department continues this investigation and encourages anyone with information to contact them. Several updates in the Tioga Downs arson that killed over 24 racehorses. A burial was held for the 30 beloved racehorses lost in that heartbreaking barn fire caused by arson. This is video from the aftermath of the fire. Now, police did arrest 32-year-old Boyd Fenton of Athens, Pennsylvania, who remains in the Tioga County Correctional Facility. Law enforcement also says that more charges are to come for Fenton as this investigation is ongoing. Revved up climate change now permeates Americans' daily lives with harm that is already far-reaching. That is according to the newly released National Climate Assessment. Rich Edson has more from Washington.
Climate change is impacting all regions, all sectors of the United States.
President Biden is putting climate change in the spotlight ahead of a highly anticipated economic summit this week. The White House has released the National Climate Assessment, showing every region of the country is experiencing the impacts of climate change. The report says extreme weather events are now costing the United States more than $150 billion a year.
I've seen firsthand what the reports make clear: the devastating toll of climate change and its existential threat to all of us, and is the ultimate threat to humanity. Climate change.
President Biden is also claiming unprecedented action to fight the effects of climate change, touting $50 billion in funding to reduce pollution and measures to reduce the price of low-carbon energy options. On Tuesday, he announced another $6 billion designed to make communities more resilient to the impacts of extreme weather.
We can't be complacent. We have to keep going. Above all, it shows us that climate action offers an opportunity for the nation to come together and do some really big things.
Critics say the White House focus on climate change is a distraction.
All of our adversaries love the fact that we currently have a U.S. president who repeatedly, consistently tells the world that the greatest national security threat out there that we are facing is climate change.
The report says that without deeper cuts in global greenhouse gas emissions, severe climate risks to the United States will continue to grow. In Washington, Rich Edson, Fox News.
How long can the nice weather stick around? Details next in our complete forecast. Plus, while there was good news from the latest inflation report, families aren't feeling the relief at the dinner table just yet. How much you can expect to pay for that Thanksgiving meal. Stay with us.
Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Good evening. We had a day battling that cloud cover, keeping our temperatures within those 40s. But there was some partial clearing. You can even see it there from the Binghamton camera that occurred towards sunset. And that clearing overnight is going to allow for those temperatures to fall down within the 20s. But we are steering with those southerly winds that are staying light. So light winds, clear skies, and a little bit of a cooler air mass around. We will be able to watch those temperatures approach those low to mid 20s, which for this time of the year, an average low sits just around about 30 degrees for this time of the year. So not overall frigid, but definitely a little cooler than what those normal lows sit at. Now, as we head back into our Wednesday, what we'll see is that there will be more times of battling some of that cloud cover, definitely continuing to show some thinning of that cloud cover though, which is going to pair up with bringing in some sunshine and a funnel of more mild temperatures, as we will have a southerly wind in place. Now, our brightest and warmest day is expected to be Thursday, as we will watch a high pressure system stay very dominant across more of the eastern states. But what we'll note is that there is a cold front that is going to be dropping into our Friday, which is going to bring some of those slightly cooler temperatures as well as some showery conditions. And then not looking overall widespread active, but there is going to be some active changes as we work into next week. But for the near future, again, just some battle of some cloud cover throughout the day, though underneath some of those southerly winds, that does usher those temperatures quickly from those 20s back up into those 50s. And as we climb to about a high into those upper 50s, note that that does bring us about 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year. So generally, definitely working in some sunshine. Can't rule out there will be some overcast times from time to time, but for general speaking here, we'll see those partly cloudy skies around the area with those temperatures into those upper 50s. We'll head our way into Thursday morning with our overnight low temperatures staying a touch more mild than they will be into tomorrow morning, looking at holding on to those mid 30s as we have that southerly wind intact that's going to keep the air mass a little bit more mild, which will then help for our temperatures to even walk away with the 60s into our Thursday. and this is going to be the brightest day, so dealing with more sunshine, stronger southerly flow that gives us that warmth. But that southerly flow is going to become a bit blustery as we head into that Friday forecast. We're even looking at wind gusts getting upwards about 30 miles per hour, and then as those winds switch, it does stay a little strong throughout the weekend, which is going to start to usher in some cooling. Even our outlook that runs towards next week's forecast into that Thanksgiving outlook, it does show a cooler than normal trend across much of the Northeast. So we'll have to keep an eye on that when it comes down to pairing it up with any active weather for that Thanksgiving travel forecast. But at least heading into the weekend, what we see is we have some of those late showers that will run into Saturday morning. Might get some Saturday afternoon sunshine, but we hold temperatures there around the upper 40s. Could have some isolated mix, not expected too much there, more from lake effect potential, as we do have a northerly wind that is going to continue to keep those temperatures within the 40s. And as we head into early next week, which is Thanksgiving week, there's at least some sunshine that will be expected.